Hey, welcome back. It's kind of a cold, dreary Saturday here at the Hotel Orloff in historic Rural Retreat, Virginia. It's episode 862, and hey, we survived Friday the 13th. It's October the 14th, 2023, and we're gonna spend the day getting things more organized here, I guess. Something like that. Anyway, how are you guys doing? It's been an interesting week for me. We probably don't even need to go into. But anyway, we're going to be looking at comic books and all kinds of stuff like that. Had a lot of pain. I think it's arthritis pain. Well, it is arthritis pain. I actually went to the doctor about that and some other stuff and everything. Dang it! Sorry, this thing startled me, ladies and gentlemen. Forgot it was there. Anyway, everything seems to be okay. It's just getting around, kind of, hobbling around Joe Biden like a zombie shuffling around. But had a physical. Everything's cool. So, yeah, what's happened lately? I haven't seen you guys in pretty much a week. There's been well, let's see. Phyllis Coates passed away. I think she was 96. She was the first TV Lois Lane in the first season of The Adventures of Superman. So, and I thought she was really great. She played it really. Later in the show, the Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen were portrayed as really dopey, like they were little kids. It's like, gee willikers, Superman, golly gee, that kind of thing. And so that was Noelle Neal. That was that she was doing what she was perfectly good. It just that's how she was told to act. But Phyllis Coates was I really always liked her in the first season. Anyway, she passed away, and Mark Goddard, I found out yesterday, passed away because Billy Mooney, posted it on Facebook and said it, kind of knew it was going to happen for the last couple of months. So Mark Goddard was, of course, Major Don West on Lost in Space. And Lost in Space is an interesting TV show, mid-60s, and that I loved it as a kid, but I just hated Dr. Smith. And I guess you're supposed to hate Dr. Smith, but I don't know. When I met this good friend of mine in the mid-'80s when I was in college, he told me that Dr. Smith was his favorite part of the show, and I thought, well, what are you talking about? Dr. Smith was horrible. And he said, no, I thought it was great that he was always trying to get out of doing work, complaining about his aching back and neck and all that. Of course, that's one of the problems I've been having. I have this horrible pain, and it's right inside my knee and the base of my spine, and here it's just like I feel like I just got out of the boxing ring with David Nino Rodriguez or something all the time. But I feel a little better today. We got some vitamins and stuff in the mail, and there are some other things bugging me that seem to have resolved themselves health-wise, so that's cool. I hope you guys are doing great. Hair looks terrible. I gotta get a haircut. Anyway, Lost in Space. First season was played straight. This terrorist from an unknown obviously he was someone. Dr. Smith, caused them to be lost in space. They were going off to Alpha Centauri, right? And he sabotaged the ship, and then he got caught on the ship. And they never really say what foreign power was behind Dr. Smith, but it's just like our present government. They're all like really agents of China or other countries, and so um, he's trapped on board, right? And instead of them pummeling him or putting him in, shackles until they could get back to Earth, they just let him babysit their kid, their 10, 12-year-old kid. Makes, I don't understand it. I mean, the guy is this horrible, in every way, terrorist that caused you to be lost in space, and he's just kind of like this annoying uncle that you have. It's like, what? But, Lost in Space, at least Lost in Space was a weekly show, and Batman was on 2 nights a week. And I don't remember if Lost in Space was on against part 1 or part 2, because they'd have part 1 of Batman one night, I think Wednesday, and then Thursday you'd have part 2. Which is why in the 1960s TV Batman, they always say, tune in tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And then as a kid, I was watching the reruns in the 70s, and I was thinking, if this was a show in the 60s and was on once a week, why did they say tune in tomorrow? It makes sense now that Batman's on 5 days a week when you get home from school. But if this was originally a network show, why did they say tune in tomorrow? It's because it was Batman was really an hour-long show, but they split it over 2 nights to make it feel more like an old-time movie serial. Anyway, one of the nights it was on against Lost in Space. So Lost in Space started to be more campy, with a silly humor to compete against Batman. And Dr. Smith became popular inexplicably, but I loved every other character in that show, except, they could have had Dr. Smith, but just, tone him down and keep him in the background. It really, the main cast, it was all just became Dr. Smith and Will Robinson. And Will Robinson, that's great. And I love the robot, and I love Guy Williams and Mark Goddard and the girls, they were all wonderful on that show. But Dr. Smith just annoyed the heck out of me. But as a kid, when you're playing on the playground, Lost in Space, you either want to be Will Robinson, Billy Mooney, or you want to be, Major West, Mark Goddard. And he passed away. Okay, who else has passed away? There was someone else. Just a bunch of people. It'll come to me in a minute. All right, trying to organize these books. There was a comic writer and artist that passed away, and I really don't think I've really read any of his work, but I mean, he's like a big name, and everybody's really upset about it. And, well, of course, but it's just I don't know him. I know he must be great because the people, Eric Breen and everybody are just talking about how great this guy was. But see, the thing was, I love DC Comics the way they were, and then Crisis on Infinite Earths happens, and they say, well, forget about everything in the past. We're going to start everything new. And I think it was about that time Justice League of America, the comic book, wasn't published anymore, and they had something just called Justice League, and I saw it, and it's like, okay, the art looks good, but I can tell it's kind of, there's Superman's not in it. It looks like it's being played as a little sitcom, like Seinfeld, or it was before Seinfeld, but it was like a comedy book, and it was like, and that was the mid or late 80s, and I just wasn't, I had other interests then, and it's like, I don't like this new stuff. And why is Captain Marvel in this universe? He's always supposed to, I always thought, he's on this other one of the many Earths. He was on this other Earth, all the Captain Marvel characters. But apparently when they collapsed everything with Crisis on Infinite Earths, they put Captain Marvel, okay, so now he's going to be with the other DC characters. So I loved it the way it was. I didn't like it, the change. So I don't know. I don't know this guy. I think it's his name Keith Geffen. Keith, I may be wrong on his name. I'm doing a comic. This is kind of a comic show. I don't know much about comics up till about, after the early to mid '80s. I don't know crap about comics, to be honest with you. I like the old stuff. But anyway, this guy, I never read Ambush Bug. I hear people say it's funny. Well, great, it probably is funny. I just never bought it. I was buying Hate and 8 Ball and old stuff from the 60s, anything I could get, but just like today, I was avoiding new comics, so that the new comics weren't terrible then. I just don't know much about them. So anyway, that's another person that passed away, but there's someone else. Man, it just stinks, man. We're all getting, oh man, lifting these boxes is probably the absolute worst thing to do right now for this back problem I've got. Okay, well, you're here to see comics, not hear me complain about stuff. Look, here's Marvel Premiere 34, The Mark of Cain. Solomon Kane. Okay, I gotta figure out how to put these boxes back. So that's Marvel Premiere through Marvel Team Up. Fantastic. Sometimes things just work out. There's a marker right here. I'm gonna write on this box what it is. Yeah, so Mark Goddard, I think he was 87, and I think Phyllis Coates was 96. People are living pretty long nowadays. Some people are. No, not Marvel. Marvel Team Up. Man, I meant to write things down. I had all these things I was going to talk to you about. I can't remember what they were now. I didn't buy this when it came out. I bought it years later just to see what all the hubbub was about. This is about the same time that Crisis on Infinite Earths was happening at DC. Marvel was doing this, and this was, I thought at the time that they're putting out a line of toys at Toys R Us called Secret Wars, and that way they can have all the superheroes and villains all teamed up together so they can sell toys. And that's really the reason for it, and I was just I just got kind of sick of all the commercialization around that time. So, whatever. Well, this is my oldest copy of Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and the Vision. This time period of comics I like, of course, I like the Golden Age. I said I wouldn't use that anymore. I like the Roosevelt Truman age, right? And I liked the Truman Eisenhower era, the 50s. And I liked the Kennedy LBJ Nixon era, the Silver Age. And the Nixon era was wonderful, the early Bronze Age. The Nixon era was fantastic. Oh my gosh, I don't have this one bagged and boarded. How about that? This, the early 70s was great. Of course, that's when I was discovering this stuff, so that's probably why I think it's so great. It's just wonderful. Oh, look at that. This is cool. Look at that. Oh, well, Ross Andrew artist. How about that? Yeah, when you're a little kid and you're playing, you want to be either James T. Kirk, Star Trek, or you want to be kind of Don West is probably the coolest. I mean, it's like, you know. Hold on a second. You hear that cracking? I know how to put the camera. See, the problem is I'm fat, ladies and gentlemen. If I can lose a lot of this weight, it's gonna really help me with this arthritis problem. Oh, okay. Because I'm putting too much weight on my joints. Okay. Then the lid. Okay. So where's the box that goes on top of that? I'm putting boxes back, ladies and gentlemen. That's the problem. I've pulled boxes down to try to entertain people on this show, or... Okay, this must be the box that goes on top of that. What do we have here? This box starts with Marvel Age. Yeah, Marvel Age. How about that? This was a comic that was promotional comic. That's a pretty good. There's a good She-Hulk cover. You know, they ruined She-Hulk. Now I can't stop. I always used to love She-Hulk, and now you see She-Hulk and you think of this terrible TV series. They're gonna ruin everything. The best thing to do is just kind of somehow put on blinders and just become unaware that this stuff, these series even exist. Oh, they're shooting a Daredevil series right now, but it's being done by Disney instead of Netflix. Right? Here's a Daredevil issue of Marvel Age. I think they filmed about 4 episodes, and they've decided to completely scrap it. They're going back. I guess they're rewriting it. They're going to refilm every episode. I think they're going to keep a couple of little moments that maybe actually worked out okay. It's getting to the point where even Disney realizes how badly they're doing, and that this is kind of the thing that I guess I'm talking about. It's like when Marvel started doing things like the Toxic Avenger, which was a terrible... I'm sorry if you're nostalgic for the 80s VHS days. It was a terrible movie. It was not good. It was... my friend Tom and I rented it the day it came out at the video store, and it's like most of that Troma stuff is just terrible, most of it. And it wasn't funny. It was just, but you know, Marvel at that point was just anything they could do to make a buck. It wasn't the Marvel that I loved in the early '70s. Okay, so this box starts with Marvel Age, and it goes to Marvel, whatever. Oh, I gotta contact Jimbo. He was saving a comic for me. I just remembered that. I'll have a little bit of money at the end of the month if you're watching this, Jimbo. Yeah, I stopped. I wasn't thinking. I don't think about it. Jimbo last few weeks has been unable to be on 4-Color Fossils, so Okay, Marvel Age to what the heck? Marvel Premiere. This is a great cover. How about that? Marvel Age to Marvel Premiere. Good. Nothing's written on this box. Where did I put that first look in her? Marvel Age to... What did I do this morning? I was I was trying to beam some cartoons from my phone to my Roku so I could record them because they're on internetarchive.org or whatever, and it wouldn't work. And then I realized I had somehow the streaming the I'm sorry, that streaming screen mirroring function had been turned off. So I got that took me an hour or more to figure out. I wanted to because someone on archive.org has the complete collection of Snooper and Blabbermouse. So I was wanting to get the Mr. and Mrs. J Evil Scientist cartoons recorded, and then someone else has all the Herculoids cartoons, and I wanted to record those, right? Which is a fantastic cartoon. Fantastic. The thing that's brilliant about those Hanna-Barbera superhero cartoons from around 1966, 67, Space Ghost, Galaxy Trio. Galaxy Trio is great too. I need to see if they have Galaxy Trio on there. And Herculoids is they just plunge you into their world. They never give you an origin story. I thought that was great. It's like they're technological, but they're cavemen, and they've got these weird monster alien friends, and there's no explanation. I love it. I love when there's no explanation. You're just plunged in like I was as a little kid when I started picking up comic books. You're along for the ride. Some of these comics have already been around since 1939, 1940, and some of them started before you were born in the early 60s, but just catch on, and hold on to your hat and come along for the ride. Maybe we'll stop and have a special origin recap issue, or maybe you could catch the origin and how the hero came to be by picking up Origins of Marvel Comics, or some reprint issue, or an issue of Dynamite that you get from your homeroom teacher in elementary school. They might have tell you how, maybe Captain America came to be or something like that. But, oh man. Motherfucker, oh shit. That's a great way to get a hernia, ladies and gentlemen. That was probably very foolish of me. Damn. Okay. Come on over here. You're too far away, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. What the heck? What an alternation. Okay, great. What is this mess? That is John Carter. Okay, what's in this box? Infinite Crisis I. Okay, alright. This box needs to go on in next. Let's see if there's anything worth looking at before I shelve it. Since Major Don West just passed away, we ought to look at the Lost in Space Gold Key comics. That's what we should do. No, I don't have a collection like Spinner X Studios. He's got all these mint condition copies, I think, of a whole run of that comic. I just have what I bought as a kid and what I bought when I could over the years. This is another thing that Marvel was doing. It was trying to cash in on toys, They would make comic books out of any toy line that came along. I showed you those before. We looked at all these, but one of the great things that Marvel did in the 70s was this comic called The Invaders, about the Marvel heroes of World War II. This was a comic I really loved. And of course, DC was doing kind of the same thing over with their All-Star Squad World War II stories. Oh, I think I remember why I pulled these out. I was trying to see what Bronze Age Iron Man comics I had. because I realized like I got Iron Man 46 is the first Iron Man of the Bronze Age that I have. Don't you love the holes punched? I'm actually there's only a 2-hole punch because apparently the binder that the kid. Oh, let me get this. Oh man, what happened is they would take the comic to school and they put it into the binder and they could read it in class. Look, they put the binder up. Looks like they're doing some important classwork. Oh, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger, that monster, that fascist. Um, I used to kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, he's great in The Terminator and his Conan and all that. He just made some comments that, like when someone says "screw your freedoms," they don't. They're not number one on my hit parade. Here's another one that I have, 47. I was looking at him because Charlton 66 is one of the nicest people in the comic book community. He said, I have an extra copy of Iron Man number, forget what number, he said he's going to send me. And it's like, oh, wow. He says, I got some extra other stuff. I'll just send it to you. It's like, wow. Well, I have 2 copies of that issue 47. How about that? Here's 48. Look at that. This guy. Firebrand. He's got little power to the people fist on his chest. I always thought that was funny. That's 48. Oh, I got 2 copies of that. The reason I've got 2 copies is this other one, some idiot did a tape pull. See, it took off the mouth of the villain. Oh, I love the 20-cent era. This is already cheering me up, Sorry I started with all this news about how much pain I've been in, and I've really been in extreme pain. But today I feel a lot better. And it's good to know from the doctor that I'm not, just gonna be gone real soon. Because I got a lot of stuff, important stuff to do, I've got a mission in life. Look at this beautiful cover. Oh, they just made an action figure of this villain. I saw Charlton was showing that off. Isn't that great? Just everything about this, it's just perfect. When in the early Bronze Age, they had this window box kind of art. Love how she's drawn. It's great. Since enrolling in LaSalle University, my salary has doubled. I used to make $20 a week, now I make $40. Oh, yes. Here's the ubiquitous Robert Bell ad, and who's that one for? These are comic book dealers. Man, where's my magnifying glass? I left it downstairs. That's, man, can't see a darn thing. Chicago, Illinois, Flint. Who is this guy? Oh, man, let's see. There's Howard Rogofsky up there. This is before comic book stores. I mean, unless you lived in San Francisco or something like that, there were no comic book stores in the 20-cent era. This is probably, I would say, I would say this is from January of 73. Let's see if I'm correct. August of 72. Well, I'm pretty close. I'm off by, about 6 months? Yeah, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? Marvel Comics. 49, Iron Man. Yeah, I got a lot of them, but not like your collections. Okay, so this is an Infinite Crisis to what is this? Oh, John Carter. Infinite Crisis to John Carter. This isn't grammatically correct. See, because I put quotation. Technically, title of a magazine or comic should be underlined, but I put quotation marks around them. Quotation marks are, you put those around poems and songs and short stories, or the title of a, the Adaptoid Strikes. That would have quotation marks. Title should be underlined, but I like to do it this way. So, and this is the way I do it, man. I do it however I feel like it. Oh, God damn. I'm sorry, gosh. I'm sorry. I need to do this show when I'm in a better mood. Okay, House of Mystery to Inferior 5. Yeah, alright. We saw these the other week. In an episode that nobody watched. Alright, we got them all back. Okay. Let's see if this box, labeled Gold Key Comics Box 3. Boy, I look awful. Gotta get more sleep. It has Outer Limits, Popeye. Oh, yeah, wow. How about that? We got some cool books to look at, ladies and gentlemen, so let's do it. Okay, so there was Irwin Allen, the producer, had a show on television called Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. There was a Gold Key comic based on that series. Meanwhile, Gold Key was doing a comic called Space Family Robinson. And, oh, look at this. My childhood Scooby-Doo comic. This one's been around. Man, I got this when I was real little. I don't know. People say these Gold Key Scooby-Doo comics are pretty hard to find, but this one I also got when I was a kid. Anyway, Gold Key was putting out a comic called Space Family Robinson. Obviously, it's pretty likely that Irwin Allen got that idea to do the Space Family Robinson comic book from, seeing that Gold Key was doing it. So anyway, he did his own Space Family Robinson, obviously based on Swiss Family Robinson. Oh, look at that. Patrick McGoohan, Secret Agent. This is all Gold Key and Dell stuff in these boxes here. Snagglepuss. I was looking for one Snagglepuss that has Mr. and Mrs. J. Evil Scientist, but I couldn't find that on archive.org. Anyway, so let me pull out these Space Family Robinson books. So this started, I think, in the Kennedy era. At this time, Gold Key would give you the cover, the painting without the logo on the back. And there's a book coming out possibly this week or next week about the guy that painted most of these covers, named George Wilson. This has had a little bit of chewing happen to it. So, this is kind of the character that Will Robinson is based on, except he doesn't have red hair, and that's obviously what would probably become Penny Robinson. As I recall in this, not every character has an exact equivalent. Look at that guy. Looks like someone Joe Biden would hire for some major position. And, you know, they got a dad that's obviously like, you know, Guy Williams. Was there the mother, you know, you got the mother. There wasn't a robot. There was... I think it was just the four of them. It's been a lot of years since I read these comics. But it was Space Family Robinson, Lost in Space. See? And this comic is from March of '63. So it came out in January of '63. So this is the basic inspiration for that TV series, Lost in Space. And, you know, Gold Key could have sued, but then why would they want to get Irwin Allen mad at them? Apparently Irwin Allen let them start putting Lost in Space in giant letters on the cover. So after a while, this will stop being Space Family Robinson. It'll say Space Family Robinson in little print, then it'll say Lost in Space. And this was what was on the stands while that TV show was on the air. And many years after, all through the 1970s, this comic was put out while Lost in Space was in syndication, which is when I saw it. I mean, I was born in '65 when this show was on the air. And so what happened is, when we were living in San Antonio in third grade, they started playing reruns of Star Trek in the fall of '73 when I was starting third grade, and I loved it and got addicted to it. Then after they'd cycle through all 70, however many episodes, which would take, I gotta think of my basic elementary math skills, but 5 episodes a week, how long would that take you to go through the whole run of all 3 seasons? Then they would run Lost in Space at the same time slot, probably about 4 o'clock every day. I think it was on Channel 5 in San Antonio, and I'd come home from school, I'd watch Star Trek, and then it would be Lost in Space time, and then they'd show Lost in Space for a few months, then they'd go back to Star Trek. It would just rotate between those 2 shows. And some people in my elementary school preferred Lost in Space, some people preferred Star Trek. I love both, but obviously Star Trek is the better series, and I preferred that, but I really enjoyed, you know, I was the same age as Will Robinson, and I enjoyed that TV series. Just Dr. Smith annoyed the heck out of me, that's all. So anyway, these paintings are beautiful. I don't know how I mean, if you're a proficient enough artist, I mean, because, I mean, this is obviously not an oil painting. I think, you know, if you're working with acrylics and you really know what you're doing, he probably, I mean, it really is possible you could do one of these paintings in a day. And maybe that's how George Wilson cranked out so many covers for Gold Key. Oil paintings take more time. You got to wait for one layer to dry, and then you put on another layer. It's and if you don't wait, if you're not patient enough, everything turns gray. By the way, Gotham City Comics, one of the greatest comic stores in the country. It's in Mesa, Arizona. Make sure you give them a call. Talk to Kevin Johnson, the owner proprietor. They're an official sponsor of us here at the Hotel Orloff. And I'm starving to death, man. Anyway, so I'll call him up at the end of the month and make another dent in my hold pile. Again, we're showing these comics in honor of Mark Goddard, even though he doesn't appear in them, and his character doesn't appear in them, and he's not in them. But just looking at it, you can see how this would become Lost in Space. Recently, last few years, around the time of the pandemic, I guess, Netflix tried to do a new Lost in Space. We saw a few episodes. I can't remember it. It wasn't very memorable. I mean, maybe it was okay, but if I was them, I would have made this. I would have used whatever technology we have now and do the Space Family Robinson comic books. Oh, I forgot. You can just tell. Like here, this is October of '65 because it says 5/10. So, and by '65 they had ads on the back. They no longer had the painting on the back. But Gold Key never had many ads. You see, you flip to the book, and there's basically no ads. The only ad they have is on the back cover, and this a couple ads here, and then maybe a house ad in the front, for other books coming out. But I just realized something here. Where is it? I have one of these. I have that one, the little girl dancing, ballerina looking. I have that. I guess I didn't realize it came from this set of 100 little dolls. They're this small. But I got it somewhere, and so I have a little piece of comic book history. See, is this the first one that I've got that has, yeah, that last one says, see, now it says Space Family Robinson, Lost in Space. World War II soldiers. Yeah, all this week, it's the day that President Obama left, or right before he left office, a plane went to Iran, and it was filled with cash, it was actually in bills. Stacked up inside this cargo plane. I forget how many billion were being given to the Iranians. We never really told why we were giving these billions of dollars to Iran. Okay, so that was right before Obama left. Now, Obama right now is president. I mean, he's obviously using what's his name, Biden, as a puppet. I mean, he's said in the past, boy, if I could just wear my pajamas and be the president for another term and sit around the basement and have someone else just say whatever I tell them to say, that would be great. And so obviously he's doing it with his former vice president, right? I mean, it's clear. Okay, so then Biden pulls out of Afghanistan and leaves a lot of brand new equipment, helicopters that have never even been used once, and all kinds of everything behind. Okay, that was a few months ago, right? Maybe 6 months ago. Then almost exactly to the day, 1 month before all this stuff happened last weekend, Drew. What's his face? Biden gives 5 hostages back to Iran, and we get 5 hostages. We trade 5 hostages, except. Not just 5 hostages. We give them $6 billion for the 5 hostages, and they give us 5 hostages and no money. So, and then suddenly there's an attack last weekend, and it's like, are we funding the attack? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're not supposed to talk about these things, but that's your tax dollars, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, this is not in very good shape. Look at this. Look at this page here, man. I didn't do this. This is not my childhood copy. I was not even born, or was I? Let me see. When did this one come out? I was probably born, but some other idiot bought this comic and did this to it. Yeah, December '67. I was just learning to walk. Yeah, how do you damage a comic like that? That's insane. Okay, this one's from my time period. This is from January of '74. But I was mystified when I bought this comic book while I was watching Lost in Space. I was like, how is this Lost in Space? What? That's out of order, man. Because I'm still in the '60s here. This is dang. Every day, man. February '68. February '67. Well, these are not in order. I love it when these ads that actually show you what you would get. You know, that Foot Locker. Well, they don't tell you is that Foot Locker is actually this big. It's like the size of your pencil box you take to school. Yeah, they don't have the flying saucer spaceship like the Jupiter 2. And they have this little this little ship that they fly around and get around. How about that? This one is whatever. This is the first one I bought as a kid. This one here. I remember that. This is my childhood copy. And it's from July of '74. So yeah, I was really into Lost in Space at that point. And then this is October of '74. Man, these are in not in order at all. This is issue 24. It's October of '67. I guess that's Moloch, huh? It's one of those. Oh well, here's April of '76. The dog is attacking. Now this is a bad time period. It's 1981, July of '81. This is the very death throes of Gold Key. You'll see that the art. If you really look at the painting, it's not very good. It's not George Wilson, right, Drew? What do you think of that, Drew? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Pause up or pause down on that one? And then they stopped even hiring people to paint, and they just had people do these quickie drawings. They're shooting shaving cream at them. They're throwing a milkshake at the Cyclops. Drew, are you hungry for something? For some kind of grub? Well, that's my collection of Lost in Space comics. Kind of pathetic. Wish I had more. But, it is what it is, man. I can't stand people that say that. The other thing that's really bad, it's... I need to stop with the so yeah, because I realize people I respect say so yeah, and even I sometimes say it. It's become such a cultural plague. Everyone's saying so yeah, so yeah, so yeah. The one that's really insidious is moving forward. Moving forward, I will make sure the dog's fed before I do an episode of the Hotel Orloff, that kind of thing. Because that's a straight up communist term, moving forward. And, sorry. Whoa! Gee, ladies and gentlemen, everything's going wrong. Hold on. What in the name of heck? Yes. So yeah. Okay, Gold Key Comics. Let's go feed the dog. Oh, wow. What is that on the floor? What in the name of all that's... What? There's a spatula on the floor. How did the dog get a hold of this? He must have been down in the basement. It's like a... Okay. I'm gonna go see what else is torn up in the basement. Hold on a second. I'll set you up here. That's the Herculoids I was recording this morning. Sorry for the mess, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, if you visit the Hotel Orloff, you can be entertained by things like that. Where did this come from is what I'm wondering. Oh, shoot. That's a cat turd, man. The dog has been in the kitty litter box. And has dropped a cat turd. I'll pick it up with this paper towel. Yes, indeed. I ought to try one of these cat turds sometime because they must be delicious. Dogs love them. I just saw a name pop up on my phone that I'm recording with. An old friend of mine that I haven't heard from in years. Now, the last several times that his name has popped up, it appeared that his email had been hijacked or something. So, and it always says his name, and it's like, here's some photos I just took. I think you'd like to see them. It's like they want you to click on them. And so I think that's probably what it is. This friend I've known since the late 70s. I haven't seen him in a few years. I haven't. It's been a few years since I've talked with him. And that's how now I get contacted with him through hijackers. Okay, so how did... Maybe... Oh, there's also a knife on the floor. The dog has been up here pulling stuff down from... Yeah, I need to spend some time trying to wash up here, man. Man. I do need to spend some time in the basement. That's really one thing I've been wanting to do. I'm in the basement now. I don't come down here very often. And let's see what's going on down here. I'm still trying to move into this house. And got the Queen of the Pirates poster there. That's see what books are down here. I don't even remember. Got some Richard Corbin books. Boy. It's my childhood Fort Apache. Let's see what's in here. Oh, here's some paintings from John Goris that he sent me. They're too big for I put them in that drawer until I can figure out maybe a way to frame them or something. Well, oh, this is a painting done by a homeless man that he recreated this Herb Trimpe cover. So I guess you would call it outsider art. Here's that's Arizona, where Gotham City Comics is, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness gracious me. Yes, it's Halloween season. So, it's my King Arthur's castle. Yeah, I need to be down here working on this area. Oh, this is my friend. Look at that. The friend that I said I just got an email from, but I don't think it was really him. That's him back in the late 1980s. We were watching Robert Tilton on television. He's got his, wonder if he still has that mask. Probably not. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So this is where I've got some pinball machines, some over there, but I got all this mess I got to clean up and organize. Remember this magazine, Toy Shop? What's hot for 1997? This is the April 25th, 1997 issue. This is before the internet. That's how you collected comics, through Toy Shop magazine. People put ads in there. Before eBay. Okay. I guess we'll head on back up to the comic book room. Got a Christmas tree down here, because it's almost Christmas. I've got one upstairs too. Got two Christmas trees already up. Okay. All right. I appreciate those of you that watch the show that do the show to, I guess, to entertain. Sometimes some shows may be more entertaining than others. But, yes. Oh, here's another. Oh, you know what I really ought to do is work on my Disney comics. I'll do that later. Okay. All right. What is this box over here? Oh, this is perfect, actually. This is starts with Challengers of the Unknown. But I need to file some of these books. We have these fake detective comics. One is fake 58, one's fake 140. Normal people call them facsimiles, but we here call them fake. Like fake news, fake comic books. Oh, here's the DC Special number 2. DC Special number 3. All girl issue. Stand back, boys. The girls are taking over. Here's DC Special number 14. That one probably should be with the Bronze Age comics. Okay, here's the fake Detective 27. Here's a fake 38. If they keep doing it, eventually they'll maybe have, you can get a full fake Detective Comics 1 through 100. Then we have fake 58. Fake 140. First Riddler. And then my first real Detective Comics is number 271. Oh, it says low battery. My goodness. I better go get the charger. Let me put this book out, unbox up. All right. Yeah. There's a Buddy Holly impersonator that's going to be playing at the American Legion Hall tonight. They're going to have like a sock hop, but I'm in such tore up shape, I don't know. That's about the biggest entertainment. You know, I'll tell you, Friday, I won't be home. I'll be working, but Friday afternoon, Ron DeSantis is going to be about, I would say, a 40-second walk away from where the Hotel Orloff. He's going to be in a little restaurant. And last week, what's his face? Pence was maybe about maybe a 3-minute walk that way. So even in this small little town, these all these people, I mean, neither one of them has a chance of being the Republican candidate. Of course, we're all rooting for Trump here at the Hotel Orloff. And some people have said, I really enjoy your show. I disagree with your politics, but, I like your show. And I can't imagine that means that they're for Biden, but, I guess it could be. Someone might really like Biden. I don't know.
I'm sure Zagon won't mind our using his own ship to get back to our planet.
This dog needs to stop. I saw her eating a cat. She brought a cat turd right to the couch last night and started chewing on it, man, like a cigar. What is it that's so delicious about cat turds, ladies and gentlemen? What is it that's so appealing about Joe Biden? The world may never. Oh, now my back's acting up. Okay, now it's hitting me. Well, I was watching Little Lulu this morning too. Hear the Little Lulu theme playing downstairs. Whew. When I got an actual working power cord, I actually bought a new one because yeah. Yeah, we're constantly bombarded by mail and phone calls. I'll show you some of it. Yeah, they're sending all this mail, desperately trying to keep us to discourage us from voting for Trump. But like this, Biden is struggling. So how could he possibly win the election? Democrats and independents will turn out against Trump. If Trump is on the ballot, Democrats will be energized and independents will be turned off. Trump nomination equals Biden wins. We need a new nominee that can beat Biden. And who is this from? Paid for by Americans for Prosperity Action. Not authorized by any candidate or a candidates committee. In other words, George Soros. Biden's ticket to another 4 years. Trump as GOP nominee. If Trump wins the GOP nomination, his baggage will cause Republicans to lose again. The White House, the Senate, the House. If we want to beat Biden, we need a new leader. All right, here. Under Joe Biden and career politicians in Washington, our economy is crawling. From gas to groceries, inflation is choking American families. Saddle up, America. We need a new leader for our changing economy. It's time to cowboy up and get tough on Washington. As president, Doug Burgum will get America booming. Doug Burgum, is he even in those? Is he even in the debates? Conservative governor, business leader, anyway, whoever he is, he's the solution. What else we got here? I save all these. Ask yourself, is it worth the risk? America is struggling because of Joe Biden's policies. But if Trump is the GOP nominee, we could lose everything. The House, the Senate, the White House. It's time to look to a new leader. It's too important to risk it all. What does this one say? There's all these anti-Ron DeSantis ones saying that he's going to take away all our Social Security. Ron DeSantis backed deep cuts to Social Security and Medicare while in Congress. Ron DeSantis voted to cut Social Security. Ron DeSantis voted to cut Medicare. Ron DeSantis voted to cut your throat. Your Social Security and Medicare are under attack from that. 4 more years? How could Joe Biden win re-election? Biden wins if Trump is on the ballot. To beat Biden, we must pick a new candidate. They don't say who, just anybody. They had this thing the other day. I mean, obviously Trump is like 60 points ahead of anyone else in the Republican. They say, but if Trump goes against Biden, Biden will win by 1 point. But if Biden goes up against Nikki Haley, she'll beat him. Or if Nikki Haley's the one they want because Nikki Haley is a hawk. She wants war, which means money, you know. Trump says, I don't want war. I don't want anyone else to die. I want to solve this and not have this like, oh no, they don't want someone that's against war. That's what they need. Joe Biden is failing. How can he possibly win re-election? See, it's the same thing. Democrats will be energized. Independents will be turned off. And then I got a whole bunch of these. Joe Biden, wrong on the economy, wrong on energy, wrong on national security. America needs a 180-degree turn from where Joe Biden is taking us right now. It's Doug Burgum, Mr. Cowboy. Yeah, see, Larry is roping up the cattle. And they had to have one where he's shooting some outlaws, striking up some horse thieves. And then I have this, obviously, is not. I have this with that. What is this thing? Why, it's all the Japanese heroes from the 1990s. They even have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in there. Look at that. Got this. It must have come with one of those Japanese magazines I used to get back in the 90s. Okay, so that's the fantastic world of junk mail, direct mail advertising. Okay. Ow, 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 ow. Look at these aliens, man. That's why that's why we need, that's why everyone needs to own a gun, ladies and gentlemen. Aliens like this, abducting people. Yeah, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I was telling you about this earlier. This was, Irwin Allen was, these covers are so great. Irwin Allen was doing that, and that's, man, August. Does that really say 60? Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was that early? Was it? I guess it was. Wait, let me double check that. No, man. It's not 60, it's 66. This is August of 66. Got confused. No. Of course, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea was a theatrical movie, and then it was made into a TV series. This is a childhood, or is it? No, it is not. What? I was going to say this is a childhood copy of this, but it isn't. I think I got confused because this one also has a pink cover. I think this is one I bought as a kid. This one I definitely bought as a kid. Comic that no one cares about, The Wacky Adventures of Cracky. But it means something to me because it was it's my childhood, man. Wacky Witch, yeah, what is it back there? Oh, Erie Publications. Let's look at that. I have this box out just so I can have something to show if I'm ever on somebody's show. Look at this. This is from probably the 80s. So in the 80s, when people were buying these I don't know. I mean, I guess they're great. Everyone says they're great. They're like the funny Justice League comic where they argue or something, and they've got the Green Lantern with the page boy with the stupid haircut. But there were also these books on the stands and that reprinted these old pre-code horror books, and so it's like, do you get that Justice League with people that's not Green Lantern? Why is Superman not in it? And maybe I should have because people tell me it was good, or can you just get these this pre-code horror stuff? You know, I tended to get the pre-code horror stuff and whatever else. I mean, I never stopped going or old comics. You know, this is from. 93. Yeah, how about that? Okay. Erie Publications. I'll show you these because it's Halloween time, and apparently that's when I show these all year long, but some people say that's when you show the spooky stuff, Halloween time. But honestly, all year long, 365 days a year is a perfect time to be looking at covers like this. This is Horror Tales from April 1973. The pulse-setting terror of the Bloody Wolfman plus Ghoul's Mansion. Yes, indeed. A shocking terrorama where eerie nightmares of blood-sucking vampires, strange monsters, and evil beings walk the dark world of horror. Yes, indeed. Yeah, sometimes it's really clearly pre-code horror that they've spiced up and drawn with some indie ink, some more blood in, and sometimes it's redrawn, like traced. It's kind of weird. Sometimes it's new stories. It's what the heck? What am I seeing here? It's just great stuff. Oh, the mummy is cutting this guy's head off while they're shooting him. Look at this, man. You see that? Look at how he's splitting his head in two. The Walking Dead, ladies and gentlemen. Nancy Pelosi. Okay, so that's great. December 1973, Horror Tales. I reckon I was buying these before anyone cared. Someone would have a pile of these at a convention, and there'd just be me and some other guy that's wearing like a Ramones t-shirt. We're the only people in the whole convention that cared about them. And I can't look at comics if I don't have music playing, so let's get this music playing again. Ow, 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 ow,